It's officially been a year since Neo released, depending on when you're watching this video. And since I made a video talking about Kingdom Hearts characters having devil fruit powers, I thought it'd be pretty cool to continue that trend with other video game franchises. And The World Ends With You seemed like an easy enough choice. Or so I thought. Yeah, needless to say, this vid ended up being a little more challenging and less straightforward than Kingdom Hearts. Mainly because it was just hard to find devil fruit powers that fit for some of the cast. They also had to exclude some characters like Joshua and Haz, considering... What the hell? Yeah, there's no devil fruit power capable of doing that. Yet. I'm also excluding Kubo and Hanakoma for similar reasons, and I want to try and stick to characters that we actually see fight in battle, so Kaia and Hishima are out too. Aside from that, it's free game. Also, spoilers for The World Is With You and One Piece. Alright, let's do this. Alright, quick explanation of devil fruits. There are three types. Technically, Paramecia, which usually sticks you at a particular power that you're able to utilize in a variety of ways. Logia, which grants you the power of a specific elemental ability, allowing you to become said element as well. Zoan, which basically turns you into a furry. The trade-off for getting these powers is you can't swim. Ever again. There's a bit more to it than that, but that's basically the most basics of basics.
Got it memorized?
Out of my face. You're blocking my view. Shut up! Stop talking. Just go the hell away. All the world needs is me. I got my values. So you can keep yours, alright? I don't get people. Never have, never will.
So it was pretty hard to pinpoint what devil fruit power Neki would have when you consider a lot of things relative to the game. First off, dude's able to wield multiple pins which have a multitude of effects, effectively making him a wild card. I was thinking of giving him the Glare fruit, which lets you read minds, but that's an ability every player has. His go-to moves in the anime seem to be fire, with the occasional electricity, so yeah, either the Flame fruit or the Rumble fruit to be good choices for him based on that. Shiki was an interesting one. I was initially going to give her the String fruit since she uses Mr. Mew in combat, but as I kept thinking about it, Mr. Mew acts more like an independent entity that has a mind of its own rather than an actual puppet. Shiki even states that he kinda does his own thing. So I personally think a better devil fruit power would be the Soul fruit, which allows the user to steal and manipulate souls, the one that Big Mom has. Now, obviously Shiki wouldn't use this power maliciously, and even if she wanted to, she wouldn't be able to, since you can only steal the souls of people that are afraid of the user. And Shiki's one of the nicest characters in these games. What she would be able to do is transfer parts of her soul into non-living objects like Mr. Mew, giving them life as a result. The Garb fruit might also be a good choice, since that also allowed you to create clothes, and Shiki is a fashion designer, so yeah. Beat is a tough one. He ends up becoming a Reaper halfway through the first game, but doesn't really receive any special powers from that, aside from the ability to fly, which he soon loses when he becomes a player again. In Neo, his latent ability is Sound Surf, which increases his speed, but the only devil fruit power that I can think of that exclusively focuses on that would be Bellamy's Spring fruit, which isn't even considered the fastest devil fruit, considering others like the Glinklin and Rumble fruits also enhance the user's speed. So I guess it's really just a matter of pick your poison. Which fruit would you prefer him to have? Rhyme. The flying Squirrel smile that one chick has in Wano. I'm not gonna lie, Rhyme wouldn't even be here if that fruit didn't exist. Nomura, can you please stop giving your characters the power to rewind time? It makes giving them devil fruit powers harder than it needs to be! Anyway, Rendo's whole thing is rewinding time and changing fate, and I had the same exact problem with young Xehanort. There is a time fruit, but it only sends the user forward in time, the complete opposite of what Rendo does. Just like young Xehanort, I can't think of a more fitting devil fruit for him, so my hands are kinda tied here. Fretch fruit seemed like a no-brainer, and I do think the memory fruit suits him the best, but his remind power seems to only allow people to remember things they've forgotten, which is also kind of the opposite of what the fruit's capable of, since it seems more suited for taking away a person's memories of specific events, rather than reminding them of anything. Again, like Rendo, I still can't think of a better fruit to give him. Hey, you guys wanna know something funny? Nagi's the oldest person in this group. At least by technicality. So I went an interesting route with Nagi. Her in-game power lets her dive into the minds of others, mostly used to exercise the noise possessing a person's body, which in turn rids any negative emotions brought out by them. I decided to lean more towards the emotional manipulation aspect of this process. Despite this not being something Nagi's shown to actively do, we do know that once inside your head, Nagi is fully capable of seriously messing you up from the inside, like what she would have done to Rendo if he hadn't rewound time. So I decided to give her Perona's Hollow fruit, which basically allows the user to create ghosts called hollows. Any target that gets touched by them becomes suppressed and unwilling to fight, with the added benefit of allowing the user to summon exploding ghosts and create an astral projection of their own body. I personally think leaving your enemies both physically and emotionally destroyed makes them just as vulnerable as diving into their head and exposing their inner thoughts. Figuring out what Shoka's fruit would be was a bit tough. Her latent ability lets you warp to special locations inaccessible by normal means, and despite there being a range to how far she can warp, it seems pretty versatile. True fruits that come relatively close to this would be Law's Op fruit and Kuma's Pawpaw fruit. Now, I already explained that Law's fruit basically allows him to pretty much do anything to anyone unlucky enough to be caught in his room. Being able to switch places with people and objects is also a thing he's capable of doing with the fruit, effectively allowing himself to teleport great distances too. Fucking OP bastard. Pawpaw fruit allows you to repel anything, and Kuma used this in a variety of ways, including a method of transportation. I don't know, I guess this is like a pick your poison situation again. Fuya, Motoi, and Kanan. Fuya leaves bombs all over the place in his fight, so he gets the bomb fruit. Motoi's fight has him constantly being backed by followers, so the pump fruit fits for him, and Kanan gets the love fruit, which lets you petrify anyone that has lustful thoughts of the user. Since the varied beauties are mostly guys, and Fred simps for her throughout the entire game, it makes sense she'd have it.
Stay disarmed, and they will not harm you. Stay disarmed, and they will not harm you.
So it's pretty clear that we're going to be seeing more Zoan devil fruits being handed out now, since most of the Reapers have a noise form that's based on some sort of animal in a sense. Textbook examples being Yodai Higashizawa, it's a fucking mouthful, and Susukichi. I put these guys in the same category since they both have a motif of big ass goat / deer thing that wants to crush you. Now, there isn't a deer devil fruit, and while there's technically an artificial goat devil fruit, it doesn't really fit both these characters. It's weird, but the ox fruit model bison comes kinda close to what these two are more about. I don't know, we have so many Zoan fruits now. Why was this a challenge? Karia and Uzuki were pretty tough to figure out at first. They don't have a noise form, so I had to reach hard for an inkling of what they could be capable of, and the results were interesting. Since a lollipop over here is always nomming on one, I decided to give him the Lick Lick fruit, which basically turns you into a candy man. You can produce candy that pretty much takes the shape of anything, be it weapons, a wall, a giant-ass staircase, a replacement for your severed arm, you name it. Plus, this candy is pretty durable too, so long as you're not fighting a fire user. Uzuki gets the arms fruit, which allows you to turn into multiple forms of weaponry, like a sickle, a cannon, hell, a freaking missile! Oh, no need to worry about the explosion aftermath, you'll reform back to normal just fine afterwards. I gave her this devil fruit because Uzuki has a gun, which she doesn't have in Neo, but she was a game master, so she's gotta be stronger now, right? Mitsuki Konishi is an interesting case, because she has shown the ability to hide in people's shadows, and utilize that power in combat. So the Shadow fruit is a pretty good choice. But she also turns into a tiger, and the Cat fruit model Sabertooth Tiger is the only tiger devil fruit we've gotten, so Megumi Kitaniji kinda speaks for himself. He transforms into a multi-headed serpent, and that just so happens to be remarkably similar to Orochi's snake fruit model Yamata no Orochi. While most Zoan fruits are pretty self-explanatory, this one has the added benefit of allowing the user to survive decapitation up to 7 times. I get it because it has 7 heads. Oh, Sugumi, honey, Hype-chan. I seriously don't want to stick you with a generic bird fruit, but there isn't really a fruit that allows you to send premonitions of the future like you do. Then again, Sugumi does shoot a bunch of laser beams at you during her boss fight, and she did utilize light to her advantage, so maybe the Glint fruit would be a better fit for her. I know. I straight up forgot you existed, honestly. I don't even know what the hell she's supposed to be based off of, but based on her boss fight, she seems to do poison damage with most of her attacks. So I thought Magellan's Venom fruit would be a good fit. After all, she starts the fight off with a barrier, and besides the barrier fruit, coating herself in various poisons also seems like a pretty effective strategy to protect yourself, on top of being able to use poison offensively too. Shiba Miyakaze, leader of the Runebringers. I'm giving him the Mag fruit, because he constantly talks about heating things up, and what's hotter than fire? Magma. Akainu sure as hell knew that. Just look at what happened to Ace. But yeah, that pretty much covers everyone aside from the composers, the angels, and the reapers we don't see fight. So I'm gonna wrap up this video, and I want to wish a happy anniversary to Neo The World Ends With Inverse Matrix! I had you going there, didn't I? Like I was gonna overlook the sexy math man. Sho Minami Moto is so special, he not only gets his own segment, but I'm giving him 2 devil fruits. Yeah, that's right. Now, it's implied to be a death sentence for a devil fruit user to eat another devil fruit. The only person with 2 devil fruit powers to this day is Blackbeard, and that's largely because of his dark fruit, which can absorb and nullify other fruit powers. However, Minami Moto is surprisingly similar to Blackbeard, at least in terms of scheming. Dude blew himself up, and then came back from the brink of erasure, even stronger! He was the first person in Neo to realize Rendo had the ability to rewind time, and then took full advantage of that by absorbing the noise created from it, resulting in him becoming even more powerful. So much so that it took a previous protagonist to put him down, and this was after fighting 5 people at once. We're talking about a guy that wanted to approach infinity. No way a guy this power hungry is gonna be satisfied with just 1 devil fruit. So based on his boss fight, I'm giving him the flame fruit and the cat fruit, model leopard. Mainly because there's no lion devil fruit. Yes. But imagine it. Giant ass fire cat. We've seen a Paramecia Logia combination, now I want to see a Logia Zoan combination. If there is any person capable of figuring out how to obtain 2 devil fruit powers and the world ends with you, it's Sho Minami Moto. And With that note, concludes this video. I absolutely love Neo The World Ends With You, and would love to see all these characters again if there was ever another sequel to be made in the future. But until then, happy anniversary, Neo. I sincerely hope this game grows more and more popular in the years to come. I have no idea how to end this video, so I'm just gonna let Pieface have the last word.
So that is slow!